And in fact, Liane, maybe we could start with you're good at helping people with the emotional and mental side of things. How do you cure a stomach ache? Because I've got I've got something brewing, I think. There's been a lot of germs floating around my house this week.
Well, I am no expert when it comes to nutritional, or I'm not medically equipped to answer that. But I do know that getting into that parasympathetic nervous system is exactly what you need. So, taking those deep breaths, I personally will do a detox bath, and just pushes out all that toxicity out, and it definitely helps reset the system.
What
But
what do you use for the bath? Anything specific?
it's just Epsom salts
Epsom
and
salt.
hot
Right.
water, but I do go into the bath with intentions. Everything I do is with intention.
Well, yeah, isn't that something though? Because the gut, obviously the second brain, some would argue maybe even the first brain, because it has such impact on all of our body that the two are so connected, right? The mental and the physical. So what you're saying, maybe I do have something. I always get like the stomach comes first when I have a little bug, a little cold brewing. But
Well, and
but
our
sometimes but sometimes it could be just the nervous system, right?
exactly, and our bodies. If you're dealing with something that you're having difficulty digesting, and that part of your life, then that's something to look at. I believe the body is a vessel to communicate things that we will overlook, or we just can't see.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, and that's something that you're so familiar with, dealing with these people from all walks, from all backgrounds. We'll get into some of that. Why does it always seem like it takes a near-death experience to wake people up?
I wouldn't say it needs to be a near-death experience, but it definitely, the bigger the shock, the quicker it seems to happen in terms of that great awakening. And it just puts everything into perspective, because even the ascension journey is up leveling our perspectives as we hold higher frequencies and we tap into higher levels of consciousness. We perceive and feel and experience reality very differently. So the shock is the gift. It's the reminder that time here is short. And do you really want to keep replaying, reliving the same reality that you have learned to know as true? Or are you willing to explore outside of that and see what's on the other side?
Right. What was your experience? What happened with yours?
Well, I was in London, England, and I looked the wrong way when crossing the road, and I walked right in front of a double-decker bus, and I flew backwards, cracked my skull, and I it was almost like a flash. Then I remember seeing myself from above, and I caught glimpses of the bus driver at that point, and lights. It was really fast. And then next thing I knew, I woke up in my hospital bed. And there were three doctors standing in front of me looking at my vitals. And I got up, went to the washroom, threw up, went back to bed. And then 3 days later, I walked out of the hospital. And according to the MRI that they did, it was so close to the blood vessel that fed the brain. It truly was a miracle that I didn't have brain damage and that I even survived at all.
So you're walking across the street, you're about to start walking, and next thing you know, do you remember like seeing it as it was about to hit you? Was there a moment
No,
you didn't
I
even
don't.
see it? So you
No.
literally just walked across started walking, and all of a sudden, do you remember being in pain or nothing like that?
Nothing, nothing at all.
Wow.
This is why
Wow.
I do not fear death at all. I truly believe when it's your time, it's your time. And if anything, I woke up to so many more questions, which is why my journey began from that point on. What is the whole point of this existence? Why did I survive this? And
Right.
just the meaning of life here on Earth.
Mhm.
So,
Life
yeah,
Itself. You ever see that movie, Life Itself?
No, should I see it?
Yes, it is so powerful.
All right, I'm going to write it down.
I talked about this before on this podcast actually, but it's called Life Itself, and it
Okay.
really is. It's spiritually connected, and ironically, there's a scene. Um, I don't want to give away too much, but there's a scene that involves like a bus and somebody getting hit, and I think of you.
Interesting. Okay,
But
well, I'm going to have to watch it
it's
now. Thank you.
incredible. It's an incredible movie. It's very emotional. Um, one of my favorites for sure. But I'll leave it at that. You'll have to let me know.
I
And
would
shoot me
love
an
to let you
email.
know.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
It's very powerful. It kind of talks about how we're all interconnected, and it's like that butterfly effect, where
exactly.
exactly right now there could be somebody in London, England, who's making his or her way through life while you and I are sitting here talking. And at some point, these paths cross because of all these other powers and energies that are happening every single second of every day. Um,
Exactly. And that level of awareness is very much 4D consciousness as far as the way I see it. And when you take it even further than that, when you talk about the miracle that it is to be alive, as you start to explore these different levels of consciousness and to really become so sensitive that you can feel air that is one with your hand. I'm pretty sure you do jujitsu. That's it.
that's right.
It feels like that. When you can tap into that field, you become one with absolutely everything, and it is the coolest thing to experience.
Yeah, I want to get to the 4D and 5D. That's a fantastic connection there that you just brought. But before we do, I just wanted to ask, you said that you saw, like, you don't remember getting hit by the bus. You don't remember being in pain or in
No.
fear or anything like that, but you remember there was a brief moment where was it like your spirit looking down at your body? What was that moment?
I guess it was my spirit because it wasn't like I had eyes. I didn't have any form. It's like you become part of everything. So it's almost like visions. It's flashes. And
Were
much
you
like you would
floating up? Like, how do you articulate it? Because I've talked to somebody else, well-known
I,
attorney here in Cleveland, same thing. And he said he kind of felt like he was like looking down at his lifeless body.
that's exactly it. It's like you're looking down, but I couldn't see my body, if that makes sense.
Okay.
It's like you become the eyes and you are looking down.
And there's what is that? What is that? What do you think that is?
My soul, my higher self looking down at the experience. And I was meant to remember that. I truly believe that there are no such thing as coincidences. And meditating on it later on, it was interesting because then I got flashes of me being in a boxing ring. And it was like my spiritual team was behind me, encouraging me to go. And I knew that I had a choice at that point, whether I go back. And it's interesting because that's just programmed in me. I am one of those people that just never gives up.
Mm.
And I can't give up. I can't tell you how many times I've hit a rock bottom where I was crying to, I believe in, I say God, but the most high source, whatever it is that you believe in. And I would cry and say, I don't know how, if I have it in me to keep going. And then I'd shake it off and I'm like, no, I got to keep going. So
Mm.
this is just embedded in me, and I am here on a mission, and that is to help people free themselves out of this 3D reality because it is dense and it is ugly. And if we don't start taking more ownership for the energies that we are projecting out into this world, as you said, that butterfly effect, we will destroy ourselves. And this is the message. This is the wake up call. This is how we are going to transform this human existence.
So you mentioned 3D, 4D, 5D. I'm just curious. You also said before you're not scared of death. Are
Mhm.
you not scared of death post that experience, or did you always not fear death
Oh, definitely post.
post that experience? Right.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. Because something about that experience, why? Just dig into that. What was What was the comfort that you experienced?
Well, I guess for myself, it was more so that I feared the pain before, to suffer, what it is to suffer. Not now, and from having lived 20 plus years later, we suffer every day and we create that suffering. And it's
Mhm.
ironic that I was afraid of being hurt and suffering, but when you cross over into higher dimensions, you're not in any resonance with pain and suffering. So you do not feel that.
So you're not, but do you forget the pain aspect? Do you fear no longer being here? God
No,
forbid
not at
tomorrow.
all.
You don't fear that at all anymore.
No, I am living every day to the best of my ability. And when you sit in that and truly appreciate being present in every moment, that just doesn't exist anymore.
Mm. Okay, so let me take it a step further. Do you fear your daughters, God forbid, not being here tomorrow?
If you would have asked me that a year ago, I would have said yes. But now I have really been sitting in what is the soul's journey. And obviously, I don't want that for them, but I believe in soul contracts and they have a contract to fulfill. And I am here as their guide. And I certainly do not want them to suffer. But if I'm going to do my job, I need to be here for them, love them, guide them, but I can't protect them from everything. That is not my job. And this is why so many people, especially parents, have anxiety over it because they take it on as their own responsibility.
Yeah.
So I speak a lot to cause and effect. For every choice we make, there's a consequence, and that if you choose a constructive path, then you will have constructive results. If you choose a destructive path, then those will be the consequences that come from it. So I certainly do not wish that for them, but I am confident in the messaging that I've been communicating with them, that I believe that that's what really made a difference in this past year, is that I've really taken the time to communicate and sort of hand off the baton that this is their journey and I need to let them
What about
go.
parents that have lost children in devastating accidents or horrific crimes? What do you attribute that to? What is that? What is that?
That is a terrible thing. And I do believe that it is part of a soul's contract. I certainly do not wish that for anyone. But if you did go through that, then that was something that you agreed to do before you came here. And it is to learn to find meaning from that experience. And I don't think the loss ever goes away, but sometimes when we lose, again, it's no different than the bus accident. It's that tower moment that pushes you into your awakening so you can evolve as a soul.
So when you say you agreed to that before you got here, are you
Mhm.
talking about the child or the parent,
Soul.
the soul of that child?
Mhm.
But the parent didn't have a choice.
It's all individual. Well, yeah, well, you're saying like
The soul of
yes,
that
they
parent,
as a soul family, yes, there is an agreement that's made beforehand. I believe that
you believe that and the
100%.
agreement's being made with the higher power, with God, whoever. There's an agreement, and we don't know. We don't necessarily. This is your opinion. This is your.
This is my opinion that we choose to come here because we want to experience how powerful and and capable we are. And often it is through the grief and the pain and the sorrow that pushes us into our empowered state. Everything is polar. What so the lower the low, the higher you can rise out of it. And
Mm.
it it's the prisons that we create for ourselves that keep us trapped, but there is something beyond the experience.
So this is, I'm trying to wrap my head around that because I've never heard it put this way. Somewhat, this is fascinating, a fascinating take that you actually think, like, why in the world would our soul, because people are listening and I'm thinking to myself, because that's one of my biggest fears, Liane, is any one of my children, God forbid, don't let me live this life without them. And why? And I would think to myself, why? Come on, Liane, why in the world would I make a contract? Why would my soul make a contract to agree to go through such horrendous pain and grief once I'm on this planet Earth? Why would I ever agree to that beforehand?
Because through your healing, you create healing for others who go through it. This is us rising collectively. Again, it goes back to that butterfly effect. It's not just about us. It's about the upleveling of all humanity. And this is the challenge that we face as we live in 3D. We're so tied into our identity as an individual that is separate from everything, that it's hard to wrap our brain around that this is bigger than us.
What is 3D? How do you define 3D, then 4D, and then ultimately 5?
3D is basically the I, it's the ego self. It is there is depth. I'll say 2D first. So if you think two dimensions, it's black and white. Once you move in it into 3D, there is more depth to it, but we are creating a reality from the self that is the ego, that is separate from everyone. It's also, there's a lot of fear and separation. It's in a lower vibration. Shifting into 4D consciousness,
Let me just stop you real quick. I'm sorry. Let me just stop you real quick. When you say operating in lower vibration, what does that mean in layman's terms?
lower vibration is where fear, jealousy, pain, anxiety,
A lot of
depression,
negativity, a lot of negative feelings.
anything that's negative is low vibrational.
Low vibration. Okay. Got it. Okay. So then you said that was 3D. Now you start talking 4.
4D is once you awaken to the fact that, oh, we are creating our realities. Our reality is a reflection of the energy that we are putting out into this world. So you've awakened and you're recognizing this, and then you're starting to want to transform your life. Moving into 4D, you recognize that all of your actions affect everyone else around you. It's interconnected. So it adds another layer to it. It's not just about us. It's not in separation.
Okay. And you kind of tied that into that butterfly effect thing that's
Exactly.
happening.
And then 5D consciousness is outside of programming altogether. It's unity consciousness.
And how does that look? How do you get there?
Well, it is a journey. That is this is why I wrote the book that I wrote. As you raise in frequency, you can start to hold these higher levels of consciousness. And when you're in 5D consciousness, it ties into what I was saying earlier. You become one with the air. You are living in flow. You're no longer in fear, anxiety. Those low vibrations don't exist anymore. Your perspective is so high that you see the perfection behind everything, that it is bigger than us. And you just trust and you live in the moment, not in the mind, but just by simply existing in the experience.
So I'm stuck in traffic and somebody's, having a road rage incident and screaming at me and cussing and going crazy.
Yeah.
And if I'm operating in a 5D mindset
Yes.
or state, what's my reaction to that?
Oh, I can tell you exactly what that is because I've been there.
Okay, perfect. That's great.
I actually start laughing at it. It just, you're so elevated and you wish them love, but you're just like, oh, this is interesting. It's almost like you are observing life from that higher perspective, like when I was floating above my body. It's like you're observing life unfold around you like a movie.
Hmm.
It's so freeing. I don't know. It's so
Like
hard
a
to
movie with
put.
5D glasses, not 3D glasses.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, you don't, it doesn't bother you. The energy that they're projecting, it just doesn't land on you. It doesn't hit you because you just don't resonate with it. You're holding a frequency above that.
Now, do you remain so you went how long do you feel like you've been in a 5D state at this point?
Oh, I definitely float. So this is how the ascension journey works. Once you've awakened, you will spend a lot of time from 3D going up to into 4D, and then every once in a while you'll get a taste of 5D, which is that magic spot. And then eventually you'll start flipping between 4D and 5D. So it does take time, but have I fully self-actualized in 5D? No, I wouldn't say that because every once in a while I'll get hit with one of my programs or an energy that I've been carrying on a subconscious level. When we're clearing our energy or clearing our karma, it's not just for us, it's for our bloodline as well. So sometimes there's some deep rooted energies and programs that will surface.
Hmm.
So like you said earlier about my children, I was hit with that, with the fear of them dying before, but then I had to work through that programming and get to the place I'm at where I was able to release it, letting it go. That is how we clear our karma. The more you let go and alchemize these programs and move out of it altogether and just allow life to unfold around you. And the only job you have at that point is to hold a high frequency. You start to sustain there.
Right. Just
But
getting
it
those
is a
reps.
journey.
It's the
This
reps,
is
the journey. Yeah.
exactly like as humans,
Yeah.
we're always thinking of that like the end of the race, but we forget there's a process to it,
Hmm.
and to just embrace the journey for what it is, and it does get easier because truly become lighter. You heal faster. You start to operate in a way that it's outside of you start to look younger. Everything shifts. That's the advanced human. Your intuitive senses are so online. You see things happening before they even happen. It's incredible to live in that state.
Have you ever seen a brain scan of somebody that you might deem to be in 5D versus someone in 2 or 3D?
No, but I would love to.
Wouldn't you love to see that and see
I
that
would love to see that.
there has to be a difference. If
Oh,
everything
I'm
you're
sure.
saying,
I bet you Joe Dispenza has that.
there's got to be somebody out there that's done this. Because I would love to see that. I would
I
love to
bet
see
you
the
Joe
difference.
Dispenza.
Okay.
I can tell you this. I've had I sent blood work off and had my telomeres tested, and
Hmm.
they came back at the age of a 30-year-old. So once you step out of the programming of what it is to even age, we just tap into that vitality, knowing that your body has what it takes to restore itself, and instead of being sending negative energy towards it, it frees the body to do what it needs to do, and it will surprise you.
Wow. You mentioned that you get a taste when you're doing this and you're putting in the work. You're going 3D and 4D. You're trying to get more from through the three and more into the four. But you said every once in a while you'll get a little glimmer or a little taste of five.
Yes,
What
well,
does that?
now it's a little bit more than before, but
But like
uh
how like if somebody's working and they're trying like what does that little glimmer look like? And like what's an
it
example?
is a you feel like you are floating. That's what they call the light body. You feel so light. You're not in your mind at all. Colors become more vibrant. Everything seems to be more intelligent. It has more depth. It's it's a you live it's a joy to just see the miracle of an apple. It's just like your whole perspective shifts and you just have a true appreciation for what it is to be alive and what is life itself.
Life itself. There it is. Um, you mentioned the book Karma to Dharma. Guys, take a look. We've linked this awesome book. Look at this cover. This, can I get the
Yeah.
superhero action figure that you've got here on the cover? Can I get one of these? Because this is pretty cool.
Yes, I had that. I had that. I had a vision of it and had it drawn for me. And
Yeah,
that's how I
yeah.
actually see myself
That's how you see yourself when you're
in
operating
the,
at your highest function.
yes.
Karma to Dharma, a new age guide to becoming superhuman. We've linked it here in the show notes, guys. Tell us a little bit at a high level too. I know we've talked, but what can we expect from the book, Liane?
I basically shared my process from starting from the bus accident all the way to becoming walking karma and tapping into 5D. And I shared it through in a very relatable way. And there are a lot of really short um, parts to the book. What you can expect is a very real, relatable way of seeing life. I share my downloads. I share how my perspective shifts. It's very much coded so that it will expand the mind and how my mind sort of sees the world. And just by reading it, you will shift into a higher frequency. You can't not shift because it is held in so much depth, even though I wrote it in a way that's very simplified.
That's fantastic. And then if people want to work with you, you offer that as well, right? One-on-one coaching.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I will be doing another course. It's a 9-week course in the fall. But you can find all that on my website, which is Liane, Liane, Marie Lambert.com.
Yeah. We've linked that in the show
Oh,
notes as
thank you.
well. Um, I mean, how long does it take somebody, Liane? And I know it varies, but like someone that's just starting to tap into this and do some personal development stuff, and they're not like, I need to start feeling better about myself, my life. Like, I know you say this is a journey. Like, what does that mean, journey? Is that a week, a month, a year, 10 years? What does that look like?
It's as long as it takes for you to let go of the who that you think you are.
Mm.
Identity is what will hold you back. Once you can start to separate yourself from the identity that you think you are, that has been imprinted on you, and you start to resonate as a being that is made of energy, everything shifts.
That's got to be incredible for you to watch and see some of your clients that start in like 2D to get to where they go, right?
And some of them actually are so they know this stuff, they understand this stuff, but sometimes it's just that energetic shift. It really is that letting go part, and to be able to witness them all of a sudden just breathe and let go of it, and it just clicks, it just lands.
Mm.
For me, that is the most gratifying experience.
Oh, it's beautiful stuff. Hey, Liane, check it out. Life Itself, the movie. Please take a look. I think it'll resonate with you
I
in
wrote
many
it down.
different
I'm going to
ways.
watch it tonight.
Okay. Olivia Wilde. I can't remember some of the others. Antonio Banderas is in it. Um,
Nice.
I forget the other guy's name. He's incredible, main actor. Anyways, you'll take a look. I think you'll love it. Guys, check out the links in the show notes. Hey, Liane, fascinating conversation. Stay in touch. Let's do this again.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Nate.